Orc gives Hoon the choice to die by his men or follow his men, to which the squad leader agrees to follow. As they follow the orcs, Hoon tells Jinwoo that they're going to surprise attack the boss when they get there, and he should take the opportunity to run and call the main attack force. Jin asks if he plans on dying with the boss, and Hoon responds that their job is to close the gate rather than making it out alive, and that's why people pay them lots of money. B-Team attack force arrives in the boss's room and is gripped by fear as they stand before Kargalgan, his 4 guards, and hundreds more High Orcs. The attack force prepares to attack the boss when he asks if they fear him, unleashing his magical energy, which shakes up the attack force, leaving them questioning how and why they are going to fight someone with such overwhelming power. Hoon asks why he brought them there, since his warriors could have easily killed them all, and Kargalgan responds that while they wait for the dungeon to break, they'll use the hunters for entertainment. In this moment, Hoon yells for everyone to charge. However, he is the only one, as everyone else is paralyzed by fear. As Hoon leaps to attack the orc, Kargalgan effortlessly creates a shield to block the hunter's attack, calling him foolish as he activates his gravitation magic, slamming Hoon back and forth between the floor and the roof. The attack force panics, however, in this moment. Jinwoo grabs Hoon, laying him on the floor, and says that he can't just interfere with the guild's property, but the attack force is going to die. So he asks if he can kill all of the monsters in the room. In this moment, one of the guards appears behind Jin, preparing to strike, but Jin uses his Dominator's touch ability to ragdoll the orc before pinning him into the roof. Jin then asks one more time if he can kill them all, to which Hoon pleads for help. Kargalgan calls Jinwoo impressive, and Jin says that he's never felt such power before, but this is a terrible matchup for the High Orc as he summons his shadow army. Hunters Association inspectors arrive outside the A-rank gate that Jin and the B-Team attack force entered, looking for Jinwoo. After asking the miners, the inspectors are told he's in the dungeon working as the B-Team's porter, since theirs didn't show up today. As the inspectors begin walking toward the dungeon, a wave of magical energy hits Woo Jinchul. As he says for a moment, he thought he was going to rip into pieces. He scans the gate's power and is alarmed, stating that it's one of the most dangerous among the A-rank gates, and that the previous measurement was wrong. Meanwhile, Kargalgan mocks Jin for having so few soldiers, as Jin warns him not to underestimate them, activating his new skill, Domain of the Monarch, which increases the stats of all shadow soldiers fighting above his shadow by 50%. The High Orcs charge, and Iron uses Taunt, but it fails since the enemy's stats are too high, angering him as he takes out a bunch of them with one swing. Meanwhile, Igris gets surrounded but easily cuts the orcs to pieces. Jinwoo effortlessly cuts through the High Orcs, mentioning that all his shadow soldiers under Knight grade have already been destroyed a couple times, so he has to lower their numbers as much as possible. Kargalgan retaliates by activating Hymn of the Fire Dragon, blasting Jin's shadow soldiers. The boss taunts Jin for having such weak soldiers, as he says his mana will run out before he can finish his warriors, but Jin confidently says he has a few powerful soldiers and won't run out of mana. In this moment, Kargalgan activates Hymn of Blazing Fire, blasting Jin's army once more. Jinwoo pulls a potion from his inventory and says he can keep replenishing his mana, but doesn't want to fill his stomach with potions, so he'll finish this quickly. This is when Jin says, "Arise," and summons the High Orc shadows, as he says there are still a lot of orcs left, but will all soon turn into his shadows, as he points at Kargalgan and says, "When he's done, you will too." After Jin summons the shadows of Kargalgan's fallen warriors, the boss questions if Jin is the Shadow Monarch, but before he can finish what he's saying, he glitches and sends his guards to join the fight as a battle between the generals begins. Iron clashes with one of the orcs, stunning him with a powerful headbutt before flattening him with his hammer. Meanwhile, Igris takes on 2 guards at the same time as he effortlessly dodges their attack, taking out his dagger and stomping it into the head of one while blocking the other's attack. As Igris gets his footing, he sends the orc flying into the air when Iron appears behind him, hitting the guard over to Tank, who smashes the High Orc into the ground. Iron and Tank wave at each other, and Jin says it looks like his generals are superior, and in this moment the attack force tries to join the fight. However, Kargalgan puts a bunch of restraints on them, as he says the audience shouldn't intrude onto the stage. He tries to cast hymns over Jinwoo too, but Jin brushes them off, as he says he's going to break that annoying shield of his, and gives his shadow mage the Orb of Avarice, who casts a fireball that easily breaks the shield, shocking the High Orc. In this moment, Hunter Cha arrives on the scene and is taken back by what she's witnessing as Kargalgan goes all out and transforms himself into a giant stomping Jin's army as his mana runs out. Charging a fireball, Kargalgan questions if he still looks inferior to Jin, who dodges, saying, "Yup," stabbing the giant orc spellcaster in the eye, and this fight continues. The Hunters Association inspectors arrive just in time to witness Jinwoo deliver a powerful blow, knocking Kargalgan to the ground. Jin explains to the orc that once a magician loses his guards, they have no chance of winning, as his own guards turned shadows stab him in the back, slaying the boss. With the boss defeated and the remaining High Orcs being taken care of, Jin thinks about collecting drops. However, since this dungeon is the guild's property, he doesn't want to be too greedy. To the amazement of the attack force and the others in the room, he utters the word "arise" and extracts the shadow of the dungeon boss. Jin couldn't put his finger on the orc's name, so off the top of his head, he names him Tusk, and this is when we learn that Tusk is an elite knight rank, adding one more rank to Jinwoo's army. As Jin finishes up, he realizes Hunter Cha and the Hunters Association are watching, as he wonders how he's going to get out of this situation. At this moment, the association's monitoring division steps in front of Jin, telling everyone else that what they just saw is top secret and can't be revealed to the public. Hoon and the attack force thank Jinwoo for saving their lives, and this is when Jin gives the female healer her will back, saying she can deliver it herself. As they leave, one of the mages asks Hunter Cha why she's carrying a pickaxe, and she blushes, questioning if she looked weird. As the mage responds, "To who?" and this arc comes to an end. Jinwoo arrives to the Hunter Association for his rank evaluation, and is surprised by the crowd of reporters. However, they are gathered for TV star Lee Min-sung's evaluation. Jin tries to enter the building, but he gets yelled at by Min-sung's bodyguard, telling him he can't enter right now. However, Go-gun-hee appears, questioning on whose authority they are sending him away, as he personally walks Jin into the building. Min-sung gets angry at having his spotlight stolen, and as he thinks about how he's going to fix the mood with the reporters, Woo Jin-chul and others appear guarding the entrance, as he tells the movie star that no one can enter until 11. Min-sung pleads to be let in, as his evaluation is at 11, and the reporters are already there. When Min-sung doesn't get his way, he tries to strong-arm Woo Jin-chul, saying his father owns the Hunters Association's biggest sponsor, as he asks if Jin-chul can handle the consequences of ignoring him in front of all of the cameras. Jin-chul says, "Yes, I can," and the movie star is shocked as he asks if the hunter they let in is that amazing. In this moment, Jin-chul pulls off his glasses, asking if the actor could handle the consequences of knowing. Meanwhile, in the exam room, the evaluator requests to see Jin's abilities so they can assign his class, so Jin summons one of his soldiers. This is when Go-gun-hee asks if that's the full capacity of his ability, and Jin thinks that since there were a lot of witnesses anyway, there's no point in lying. So he summons his entire shadow army, stunning everyone in the room, as Baek Yoonho says he's nothing compared to when they first met. And with this, Jinwoo gets his license, officially recognizing him as an S-rank hunter. Follow for more as we explore the return to the Demon Gate.